Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Sports Wave Network and Sports Corner with the Conn Man. I am your host, the Conn Man. And with me this afternoon, I have with me a very special guest. He goes by the name of Aaron Pace Christian. What's going on, my brother?
What's happening, big dog? How you feeling?
I want to get you on my show because I want to give you your flowers, number one. And I'm so damn proud of you and what you've accomplished. And, I know you want to talk about some things later on. But before we get there, can you let the viewers know a little bit about your background, your history, your grind?
You broke up a little bit there, Mike. At the end, you said what?
Okay. I want you to talk about your journey, your grind. I want the viewers to know a little bit about, where it all began, how it started,
Yeah. So, for me, honestly, hold on 1 second. My bad, Mike. Hold on 1 second, brother. Thank you. So for me, honestly, and at any point, if you can't hear me, let me know. For me, honestly, it's obviously started in New Bedford, Massachusetts. I went to prep school. After my sophomore year of New Bedford High, I repeated when I went to Tilton Prep. And then, look, like from there, I went to prep school, did a post-grad year. And then I found my way of a mutual friendship that I have with Wyclef Jean. Wyclef happened to be coming back from his presidential run in Haiti, which went horribly wrong. And I had always communicated with him throughout my college experience just about music. And, with my father having the background he has as a musician, traveling musician, but then also working in the vocal department at Berklee School of Music for 22 years, I felt like music was just somehow pulling its way at me and pulling me that direction. Everybody thought I was crazy to abandon basketball when I graduated college instead of pursuing it to play internationally, but I felt like I was resting on my laurels. So I just started hustling in New York with Wyclef back in and out of the studio, and eventually it put me in a position where I was able to move to Los Angeles, where I'm at now. That's kind of the expedited short version of it,
Now, from there, where did it take you from there?
From LA, well, I live in LA still, but I think where it took me was just that I realized with all the value that I was bringing around Wyclef as a business, because he always used to tell me, use me, meaning if you can think creatively of what type of plays you can put together, who you'd like to work with, who should be working around me, I'll always support you if you're thinking creatively and you're bringing your network to the table. So I started doing that with brands to bring money to the table, such as whether it be Skittles or Voss Water, a Nike, a Puma, what have you. I would invite those people to the studio because a lot of the executives, high-up executives within these Fortune 500 brands, they were around the same age group and age demographic of Wyclef. So they were fans of his already. So there was this sense of knowing if I brought them to the studio, they would be enamored from a fan standpoint while being in his presence, which would make it easier for me to close deals. And then from doing that, he taught me what a commission is. because I had no clue of what a commission was coming from the sports world. And so that made me want to hustle and do more. And so when I got to LA, I was able to pretty much centralize my business and realizing that I was the centerpiece of a bunch of different people, producers, brands, artists who are all in orbit around me, with me being the nucleus of that. So it allowed me to start cross-pollinating and interconnecting them with me being in the center, which allowed me to make money and in turn form my own business. Because all of those people were my relationships. Does that make sense?
Sure does. What gave you the confidence to go and do what you were doing?
I think just me being an athlete, I have a really cool, great upbringing with great parents who instill confidence in me. The community that I come from in New Bedford, Massachusetts, where we're from, people like yourself who watched me grow up, who told me good things about who I am as a person growing up on the basketball court when I'm a little guy running around. Um, we're so blessed. One thing I'm gonna say is this, Mike. We're so blessed to be from where we're from, and it really bothers me and sickens me when I go home and people talk about how they're tired of New Bedford and they hate New Bedford. Well, look, if you're married, you're gonna get tired of your wife too at some point. It doesn't mean you should leave her or divorce her.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You're gonna get tired of your best friend. You get tired of whatever car you drive. You get tired of where you live. It doesn't mean that it loses value. You gotta go experience other things in order to realize the value of what you have. You know what I mean? If in fact you don't know what you have, I'm not saying that if you're married, you need to go be with other women to know the value of your wife. Hopefully, you married her because you already did that and you realized the value of what you have. That led you to marry her. But specifically speaking on where we're from, that's the greatest gift that I ever had was the luxury and the pleasure of being from New Bedford, Massachusetts, where it's a melting pot of all different people from different walks of life, different economic backgrounds. You know, we growing up, we don't realize how much we don't have because all of us are kind of within the same economic tier and background. And so the things that will take you around the world when you come from where we're from that add true value, they're the things that money can't buy, like loyalty, friendship, love, laughter, senses of humor. You know what I mean? Those are the things that money can't buy. And when you travel to the rest of the world, people just don't possess those types of things. And so I think that my personality, my morals, my characteristic traits that are embedded in my DNA based on where we're from, those have been those have been, I would say, the greatest weapons, not of destruction, but for the greater good that I've been able to apply in every room I go into, every office, and with every conversation. Is that I'm fortunate enough to be where we're from. You know, I think that get paid off as the greatest dividends for me.
And we touched upon, well, you touched upon your parents. I have the distinction of knowing your parents very well, and folks and viewers who are tuning in who may not know who his parents are. His dad was the great legendary Armstead Christian. Got to be go down as one of the greatest musicians to ever come around. You know what I mean? And to be in that environment with your dad, and what a great man, uh,
Yeah,
humble, confident, just like you. Very humble, but very confident.
yeah, he was
And
great.
uh, you folks, you can go look him up, Google him. Armstead Christian, jazz musician, vocalist, the whole nine. I mean, it'll take me about 4 days to give him the proper praise. And his mother, Marcy, who I happen to was able to gladly recognize her for all the effort she does working for the city and all the community things she does as well. So before I go any further with you, I got to give them their props because they raised a good family as well, and we got to give them their props. And look what resulted. You know what I mean? Is there anything you want to say regarding your dad or your mom's or anything like that?
Yeah, no, I mean, I was blessed with, I was very, very blessed to have, even though we all have our problems. You know, my dad's black, my mom's Cape Verdean. You know what I'm saying? So
Right,
it's like,
right.
so you're gonna see craziness
Oh
amongst
yeah,
your family, but nothing ever too crazy. I had an abnormally blessed and stable upbringing. Where I'm fortunate to say that I don't have any trauma, any any traumatic things that may be lingering within my approach on life and my mentality, they would be self-inflicted, not because of my parents. And my father, he always supported me in whatever it is I was doing, as did my mother. They always attended my games as a young kid, so that if I had a great game, they were there to support me, and it made me feel better about seeing them there to share that moment with them. If I had a bad game, it made me feel good because I knew that they were still there to support me through the bad times. And I think those early games are just symbolic of what would become the rest of my life, in the sense where if it was achieving a height in my business career or my business acumen, then they were there. When I found out that I was having a child, my son, I flew home with my girl and told my mother at the kitchen table, and she was ecstatic and couldn't wait to be a grandmother. I've if there's anything I want to say about them, it's just that they've just always been there and they've supported me every step of the way, and that more than anything, they were a great example of what true love and true support looks like within the confines of a home and a relationship. They embody the definition of sacrifice. And it does a lot. It did a lot for me as an individual to be able to witness that, because now that I'm an adult and also now that I'm a parent, I don't really have any excuse for why I can't I can't go harder, or why I can't make sacrifices, or why I can't be the parent, specifically a father, who's there for every moment of my child's upbringing, instead of making the excuse that I have to go work or that I have to go do this, I have to go do that. Your kids just want you there. They don't care about all that other stuff. And when it's all said and done, all we have is memories. You know what I mean? We don't take anything with us. Memories are the only thing that we leave behind, and that lasts with those who we've left behind. So I make sure to make every memory and every moment last. And my parents definitely, they instilled that in me and were an exemplification of that.
And some folks too is I can verify because I was at them games refereeing, having at the Boys and Girls Club,
My
and
mother
the
was
parents
on
were
you,
right in the
boy.
stands. Let me keep it real. They were right in the. You know what I'm talking about. But it
My
was an
mother
honor
was
having
on
them there.
you. Standing up
It was a
screaming,
joy.
Mike, that's a foul, Mike. She's crazy. She's out of her
Oh,
mind.
Lord heaven, yes. Oh yeah. But but it was all in love. You know what I mean? And,
Yeah.
and I appreciate them. I Because a lot of times in New Bedford, I'm just going to use them as an example. We had a lot of kids growing up with one parent family, or a lot of times you didn't see the parents there. So me refereeing at the Boys Club for so many damn years, it was great seeing the parents come and supporting their kids. So that was a great thing, and your parents would definitely set that example for others as well. Now, getting back to you being in California, I want to give you your flowers. I want you to give me the road to where you at least to where you're at now.
Say that again, and to where I'm at now, Mike. Say it again.
Yeah, I want you to talk about the road that got you to where you're at now. I want you to talk about some of the artists you worked with, things of that nature, man. This is about you, not me.
Yeah.
So I want you to be able to give up, let the viewers know that some of the artists you work with and things of that nature, and then we'll talk about your recently being named on the prestigious board. But prior to that, let the viewers know a little bit more about you that don't know about you.
Right. Right. Um. Yeah. So a lot of the artists that I worked with that gave me the opportunity to end up moving out here to LA, because I had established uh, such good relationships with them that they contributed to my financial well-being. Machine Gun Kelly, Wyclef Jean, Chance the Rapper, Currency, El Varner, Jeremiah. And El Varner's from over there, where we're from. She's Cape Verdean. She's beautiful. El Varner's
Oh,
from Wareham. She's Grammy Award winning, all
whoa.
that. Yeah, El Varner, yep. Um, so that was an awesome experience, was having her and Wyclef, Chance the Rapper, and Jeremiah in the same studio together. Um, who else, man? I mean, I had the pleasure to work with Hype Williams early on. Uh, Man, it's quite a list, but I would say that those are the first that come to mind at the top of that list. I would say that those are among the first that come to mind.
And you have put a video out. Maybe I do have a case of dementia now and then, but you did. If I'm correct, didn't you have Mike Tyson at your crib?
Oh no, I had I need my key. I had Black China. What is this? Hold on, it's a $5 tip. We have to add it in there. Okay, well can I have my key? Because yeah, that's fine. Yeah. So that's one of the only systems. Yes, can I have my key? Yeah, I'm in a rush.
No, it's live TV, y'all.
Sorry, geez,
No problem.
I'm trying to get it. I'm trying to lock in on you and sorry, Mike. Give me 1 second. I'm just waiting for the bring.
Go ahead, hang on. Hey, I got a big mouth. I can cover it. But getting back to his days at the Boys and Girls Club, which we're going to talk a little bit about later on. It's been an honor to have him on. He's doing some phenomenal things, and it's good to have a home person do so well. And he is definitely representing New Bedford and his parents and his family as well. And I'm honored to have him on the show because, folks, stay tuned. He got a lot more things coming on, and he was just recently named to the.
Sorry about that, Mike.
No problem.
Okay, now will you repeat the question? I'm so sorry.
I said I swore I saw a video of you with Mike Tyson.
Oh yeah. So no, I had I did meet Mike Tyson. You want to tell you a funny story? Let me tell you something. Mike Tyson is, I think he might have been the greatest individual I've ever met in my entire life.
Wow.
Honestly, he's so inquisitive and so smart and experienced. I mean, you're talking about a guy who like was raised as a crack baby, raised in the hood, became arguably the greatest boxer of all time, worth $500 million, lost it all to drugs, comes back many years later, gets married, fully finds God, builds an entire different business by way of being a podcaster that is primarily focused on marijuana medicinally. And, one of the things that I asked him when I was with him is I said, what's the single-handed greatest piece of advice you could give me? Someone who's in his 30s, with all that you've seen and done, the highs and the lows, everything in between. What's the greatest? And he said, he pointed at Caden, my son, and he said, that's all that matters right there. Him, he said, money doesn't matter. He said, F that. I've had enough money to last lifetimes and I lost it all. And he said, the only thing that matters is family and your loved ones. He was like, it's the only thing that money can't buy. It's the only thing that is always going to be there. You don't get to choose family. He said, they're stuck with you, whether you like it or not. He said, it's the only thing that matters. He said, everything that you do, you pour right into him. As he pointed at my son. He said, pour right into him. He's like, it doesn't matter what you invest your money into. Invest your time into him. And it really hit for me because when my dad passed, there was like 3,000 people at his funeral or something like that from all around the world. And he was cremated. He wasn't even in it. He wasn't even in the box, And that was, for me, that registered to me a certain way that changed the course of the rest of my life because I then realized what really matters in life. I was on this constant chase and pursuit as I'm growing up. Once I graduated college and moved to LA, I'm thinking just how can I get the most money? How can I get the most money? How can I do this? How can I do that? And when he passed, when I witnessed that, I said, wow, this is what it's all about. Because my dad's gone, I would do anything to have him back. But the amount of Facebook messages that I received from people, text messages, phone calls, all these different things, and how they spoke of him, it made me realize the only legacy you have is what people say about you when you're gone. People only remember how you made them feel. We're just big capsules of emotions. That's what the spirit is. That's what the human and Holy Spirit is it's just energy. It's emotion.
I got you.
Can you? And in saying that, physical things and materialistic things don't matter when you pass. It just matters about the memories and the stories and the things that people say you made them feel. You know, the thing is this, right, Mike? You go into a room and you meet somebody new. I can say, "Yo, this is my OG Mike," and they meet you for 5 minutes. When you leave, they're only gonna remember how you made them feel. They don't know you, right? Not in 5 minutes. Can't know anybody. They don't remember how you made them feel. Yo, I like that guy, Mike. He's a great guy. He's a great guy. Like, he's really intelligent, or he's hilarious, or he's really cool to be around, man. You know what I mean? You might not see that person for 5 more years, but they're gonna remember how you made them feel that time. So what is a eulogy? A eulogy is just remembrance of somebody, of how they made you feel, the stories, the memories you have with them, the emotions that you help influence them to feel and experience. That's it. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
It's the single-handed greatest thing that I learned in this lifetime so far through my father's death, and it's the one thing that Mike Tyson echoed. And so whenever I see him, whether it's in person or on TV or whatever, it's he has a really special place in my heart because I don't know everything about Mike Tyson as a person. You know, I'd be lying if I tried to say that. But I know my experience with him is one that really reassured me of the importance of life. And I think it takes a lot for someone to be able to do that within an hour.
That's so true. That that must have been a great experience. I also saw you on the floor of what they call it now. I don't even know what they call it. The Los Angeles Lakers game. I saw you
Oh
on the
yeah,
floor on that. That must have been a great experience as well. And you brought your son with you, along with you.
yeah. I've been to I've been to a handful of courtside games with the Lakers and the Clippers because they're both out here in LA. That was probably like my eighth time, maybe more than
Wow.
five, less than 10. I'd say around eight. And I brought my son to a couple of them. His favorite player was Russell Westbrook 2 years ago. That was the first year he got traded because Russell Westbrook came over and gave him a pound. But this time,
Okay.
my son was on ESPN because when LeBron went over to that little white girl and took a photo
Oh
with her,
yeah.
yeah, my son was all in that video, tapping on LeBron's leg. And LeBron had two wristbands. He gave one to the white girl, one to my son. So my son,
Oh wow.
my and it's funny because 3 months before that, my son said he saw Space Jam and said, "Dad, can we go to LeBron James's house? I want to meet LeBron James." I said, "Dude, you met LeBron James." I had my son on a Nas video shoot 3 years back, and LeBron James was on set, and my son met LeBron. LeBron reached out to give him a pound, and my son didn't even reach back to give it to him. I looked at him and I was like, "You better
Oh.
give that man a pound. You're embarrassing me out here. What's wrong with you? You know,
Right.
but you embarrassed me. You know who that man is right there." So it was funny. It's funny because I had the luxury of laughing with my girl when he said, "Can I meet LeBron James?" I'm like, "You met LeBron James," but it really put it into perspective because when we were growing up, Michael Jordan was Space Jam, and in his generation, they're growing up looking at LeBron James as the guy in Space
Right.
Jam. And
Right.
my son got to meet the Michael Jordan of his lifetime and was on ESPN and Sports Center and all that while he was doing it the next
Wow.
day. So
Wow.
that was the coolest courtside experience I had because um, my son had a real moment to witness who is his favorite player, and he got to meet him. That was tight because the first time that we went, LeBron didn't play. He sat out.
Okay. Now let's talk about this outstanding honor you have received in order to be on the board of XXL magazine. Talk about that.
Oh, it was dope. I mean, obviously, double X, um, like double XL is the most. I would say them and the Source are probably the most historically iconic hip hop brands ever. So that was cool just to be recognized and identified for that because I've they have the double XL freshman awards every year, and I've been blessed to have put two of the five artists that I've managed since I became a manager 6, 7 years ago. Two of them had become double XL freshmen. So it was cool to be recognized as a manager to be on the board of voting for people now who can win awards and things of that nature. Just because I think it's always good to be recognized for your achievements and for the commitment that you put into whatever your craft is. For me, it was more that than anything else. Just being recognized.
Now let the viewers know some of the members of that board.
Nas, 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 2 Chainz, Ludacris. Man, it's a long list. DJ Khaled, 50 Cent, Dr. Dre, Paul Rosenberg, who's managed Eminem his whole career, Steve Stow. Man, it's a long list of people who have seen and done a lot more than me. They've done a lot more living. They've achieved more. They've seen more. You know what I mean? So it's a really dope list to be a part of, to say the least.
It definitely is. Now, we got viewers who might want to go into that realm, into what you do, what advice would you give to someone who might want to get to be a manager or things of that nature, of an artist? Let them know kind of what the day-to-day pros and cons of being a manager.
It's a selfless, thankless job. It's a lot like being a coach, because the wins are for the players, which are the talent or the artist, and the losses go to you. You know what I mean? Whenever a team has a bad season, first thing people do is blame the coach. When the team has a winning season, they look at the all-star starters in the lineup that they have, and they give them the glory. So it's a lot like being a coach. You know what I mean?
True. That's definitely true. Before we go into what we want to go into, is there anything that maybe you want to express to the viewers that maybe I didn't bring up, or is there anything that you want to talk about before we get into that maybe I didn't bring up? Because I'm giving you your flowers, so I want you to be able to express yourself in a way that other viewers, because I always want my guests to have an impact, and I think you are definitely one of the people that can have an impact on my audience.
Yeah. So you want me to express? You give me the opportunity to express what exactly?
Whatever you want.
Oh, no. No. Are we done?
No, not at all.
Oh, then yeah, no, I'm cool. We can keep the interview going.
All right, cool. Now I have to ask you a question, if you don't mind. It's been on my mind a little bit. If you don't mind, I'd like to go back to when you were at New Bedford, because I kind of lost you.
Yeah.
Like you were gone. I don't know what happened. But anyway, I want you, if you could, we lived some of your days playing ball in New Bedford and things of that nature. If you could.
Yeah. So hold on one second. I'm just putting my son in the car. Get in the car, Katie. Sorry. All right, go ahead, Mike.
I said I wanted you to talk about growing up in New Bedford, playing ball in New Bedford.
Oh yeah.
And what was it like? And as I said before, I kind of lost you, man. After high school, I don't know where the hell you went. I'm like, where did you go? And I want you to talk about, your playing days in New Bedford, and then I'm gonna tell you how I felt about my memories.
Yeah, no. So growing up in New Bedford playing basketball was amazing. I live in LA now, and I'm raising my son, and my son is shaping up to be an incredible basketball player, even better than me. And he's fortunate enough to be able to have me to be able to teach him that, because I played. But I'm starting him so young. He's 5, and if you go look at any of the videos I post and stuff like that, he's awesome. The only thing that sucks about here versus growing up on the East Coast or New Bedford in particular is they don't prioritize basketball out here at a young age the way that we do back home. I didn't notice this until I brought my girl back home, because she's from San Francisco. She's like, yo, every single backyard and every house has a hoop in it. And I never realized that. That was just normal. It was just normal to us, Every single house has a hoop in the back. And then the other thing is, it's just basketball courts at almost every other corner. If you go to Hathaway up the street, not only do you get Buttonwood, but even before that, the Boys and Girls Club. Then you got what is it, West Lawn over there?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then United Front in the other direction, and then there's hoops in every driveway along the way. It's basketball was introduced at such a young age that we're just always able to play. It's not like that out here. For kids at a young age, it doesn't really exist. There's no leagues and stuff like that for them. So, you know, growing up where we're from, I definitely had the luxury of being able to play with other kids all the time, and that helped. But in terms of, you know, where I went, for a lot of people, I would say in your generation, well, I would say a lot of people knew, but then a lot of people, they did lose track of me. And if they did know that I transferred and went to prep school, they lost track of me once I got there for sure, you know? I mean, look, the thing is this. The two greatest point guards to ever come from New Bedford are me and Brian Rudolph. And I don't think anyone will ever argue that. It's a fact in many different ways. It's a fact if you just look at how we played, right? Or specifically if you look at me, right? How I played. If you look at my capabilities from being 6'2", 185 pounds, we never had a point guard from where we're from who could go through the lane, pass at the highest level, dunk at the rim against big man defenders, play defense the way I play defense, lead teams the way, and then go on and do it at the next highest level to prep school. You know what I mean? No one else went to prep school before I went to prep school from New Bedford. I think there might have been one guy that I met, an older guy who went to Brewster, who was a lot older. I forget his name. But in recent memory, nobody went to prep school before me. You know what I mean? And now recently, someone from New Bedford, I forget her name. She's incredible. I love her. She went to my prep school, Tilton. She's at the University of Miami right now. What's her name?
I know her name. She's a point guard.
Yeah, she's nasty.
Yeah, I know her very well. I know her. Yes.
Yeah, she's
doing very
killing
well.
Killing it, bro. I'm so proud of her. Yeah, she's killing it. She went to my prep school. Before I went to Tilton, see, and you didn't even know that. Before I went to Tilton wasn't even a basketball school. It was a hockey school.
Really?
You know what I mean? So I went on to play Division I basketball and then Division II, and I was number 7 my senior year in all Division 1, 2, and 3 in triple doubles. Yeah, bro. I had 8 triple doubles my senior year. People don't know I had 39 points and 24 assists and 13 rebounds one game in college against the number 1 ranked Division II school in the country that won the national championship on ESPN the year before. You know, there's a lot of things that no one else was playing for AAU teams outside of New Bedford before I did it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm the first person who was playing for a team in Providence and for a team in Boston just so I could play at the highest level. And I was doing that when I wasn't even at New Bedford High School. You know, the thing is this, right? And someone needs to say this, and maybe it's me because everyone else is living in New Bedford. Complete love. I love Coach Rodrigues. You know what I'm saying? But Coach Rodrigues put me in a position that would ultimately change the course of my life, even to me being here for the better. But he didn't know it. He was doing it because I was better than Ryan Rodrigues. And if he didn't send me out of school while I was 1 grade above Ryan, then by my senior year, it would have been me and Brian Rudolph starting in the backcourt. And Ryan Rodrigues would have graduated coming off the bench. So Ryan Rodrigues benched me for no reason. Coach Rodrigues benched me. I came in my sophomore year, the first game of the season, the 9th guy off the bench. I'm the only other sophomore on the team besides Nick Ponce, who's starting. I had like 18 points and 5 assists off the bench. Me and Nick Ponce were the highest leading scorers, 2 sophomores. After that, he benches me. It's because he didn't expect me to do that good. And you know what? God's plan is greater than his. So everything worked out for me. And I love Coach Rodrigues. I do. He was being a father. But it shouldn't have came at the expense of everything that my father and my mother instilled in me, how hard I worked to be a player. He could have took his kid and sent them somewhere else. And Ryan Rodgers is one of my closest friends. So none of this is personal. But the reality is, Coach Rodrigues, as much as I love him, along with a lot of other high school players in New Bedford, should not be coaching kids because they did not see the heights of athletes that gives them the authority to be able to teach and train a child to go see heights further than them. You can't teach somebody and train somebody to be great when you yourself weren't great. You can't teach, you can tell them what not to do, but if that's the case, be a mentor. You shouldn't be their coach. And the problem with New Bedford that I see to this day with athletes is that they're being trained by personnel who are not qualified to train them. It's going to be really hard for you to teach a kid how to go to a higher level you haven't been to. You weren't good enough. And you don't have the network to be able to call in favors and scouts to be able to come watch them. So New Bedford has a broken sports system, and I'll be the one to say it because I came through New Bedford. I excelled outside New Bedford, and I'm excelling at the other sport that I'm doing right now. To be able to look back and say that about anybody who's doing that. One thing about you, Mike, and the reason why New Bedford has so many good mentors is because a lot of you guys played sports, love sports, and watch sports. But you guys never try to dictate who's good enough to play and who shouldn't. It's recognizing your lane, and it's recognizing your strengths and your weaknesses. And it's recognizing, more importantly, from a humility standpoint, where your services could be offered. You know what I mean? And people like you are so important to the landscape and the growth of the future athletes from where we're from. But there needs to be better head coaches who are more qualified to train and develop talent. Because you got to be able to look at these coaches need to be able to look at where the athletic road for them ended and say, am I capable of leading this person as a GPS? You know, most of them aren't. You know, I was tired of hearing about how, you know, I was tired of hearing about how New Bedford High School was the best in the state in 94, 95. When I went to prep school, I'm playing against the best players in the world. They're going to the NBA straight out of high school. You know what I mean? I'm looking back and I'm like, is this the standard? The standard is very low where we come from. And a lot of it is because it's the blind leading the blind. And the blind sometimes, a lot of the time, are the head coaches. They're leading these kids into destruction. New Bedford High School needs to change its standard for who they hire as head coaches because these coaches are not qualified to teach the next rising stars. That is the single line. That is the single-handed phrase I would say.
That's deep, my brother. That's deep. I'm gonna go back
And a lot,
to
and
when I
look,
was refereeing a game.
Gretchen, I love her to death. Gretchen might be the greatest female athlete to ever come from New Bedford, but her father is far from a great coach, and I love him to death. But Coach Rogers let a lot of talent down, a lot of talent down, a lot of talent down. Coach Parker sent people to Coach Toppy, and they did a great job. And then once it goes to Coach Rogers, he didn't know what to do. He tried his best, and he did it many years before that, but you can't have 10-year intervals in a state like Massachusetts when you have the biggest public school on the East Coast, one of them. We can't make it to playoffs. We can't win the state every single year. Like, that's a really low bar, man. You know, so my heart and my hope goes out to where we're from for the next several years of whomever the rising stars are. But the standard has to change first, and the mentality has to change where we're from.
You know something too I want to ask you, even though you're not really in that realm anymore. What is your take on AAU in general? In general.
In general, AAU is very important because it teaches teamwork and building skills for kids. Hopefully, if they're actually utilizing AAU for what its purpose stands for, which is travel basketball. If you're from New Bedford, Massachusetts, or Fairhaven, or Dartmouth, and you're playing for your local New Bedford or Fairhaven or Dartmouth AAU team, you're shooting yourself in the foot. You're not traveling at all. You're not exposing yourself to new teammates. You're not exposing yourself to new ways of playing, new coaching styles, new levels of competition, which is most important. I think AAU is one of the single-handed most beneficial opportunities for young players who are coming up, but only if they take advantage of that opportunity, which is to leave the nest that you're being raised in, spread your wings, and go fly somewhere else.
That's deep. That's deep. Now, what I wanted to do also, Aaron, is that I was trying to reflect back when I used to referee your games, and you had ability that the others didn't have, from what I recall and what I remember. You had the city game. You brought the city game to the city. You were doing things, and we were like, "How did you do that?" Because we didn't see that. We didn't see that people do stuff like you were doing. And then again, like I said, you were gone. Why did you leave New Bedford High?
When I was what? Why did I leave New Bedford? That's why I
Yes.
left. Like I told you, the first reason was because Coach Rodriguez, after he played me my sophomore year on varsity, the first game I had 18 points, 5 assists. This conversation has never been had publicly that I'm having with you, but the reason was because he realized that I was going to be a problem for him by the time I became a senior because Ryan Rodriguez was a junior. And that would mean he would have to choose between either benching Brian Rudolph, his son, or me at the 1 and 2 position by the time my senior year comes. You're not going to be able to bench Brian because Brian is in the same class as Ryan. And I'm one above, but I was better than Ryan. So he benched me and forced me to have to go venture out and find a new AAU team. So I played for Providence United. And then I played for Middlesex Magic. Both teams were better than the Bristol Stars. You know what I mean? Which was a local team. Mm-hmm. And then that gave me the opportunity to then get discovered by prep schools. So I went on to go play in prep school. So in benching me was God's will and God's plan. And like I said, it was greater than his. So it was exactly where I landed exactly where I needed to be. But the city game you saw came once I left New Bedford. And once I saw what real tenacious defense looks like. When I realized that finishing below the rim is going to get your shot blocked when you play against 6'9" big men, not 6'3" big men who play for Durfee. You know what I'm saying? So now when I'm going into the lane with someone on my hip, I'm rising up at the basket, 2 hands on the glass. If I'm coming down the middle and I beat my man, he's behind me, I'm going to dunk it. I'm not going to do a finger roll. You know what I mean? It prepared me to play basketball at the next level from a national scale, not the next level from a regional one.
Okay. What do you think about the players? I don't know if you are familiar with most of them. The girl you was talking about was Adams, was her last name. That played at Miami. Anae Adams. Yeah, okay, yeah, that was her. But she's doing well. You got Bryson Goodine.
Yep,
you got Bonzi Colson.
Yeah.
So we have had some people out here who are doing.
They all left.
But
that's what they all have in common.
There you go.
They all left. Nate went to my prep school in New Hampshire that I went to. Chilling.
I didn't know that. Wow.
Nate went to my prep school. My prep school that I went to was a hockey school before I got there with the class that I came in with as a sophomore. We won the NEPSAC, which is the New England Prep School Athletic Conference. It's the most competitive high school league in America, in the world, in basketball. We won that championship my sophomore year, put Tilton on the map. And now 10 years later, 12 years later, whatever it is, Nate's going there. And that's not because of me. I just was one of the contributing pieces of what made that school a globally recognized and identifiable basketball program.
Great question. Again, now I'm going to give you some questions I got to give you, man, because I can do this. Who were the best players you played with or against locally here in the New Bedford area?
Well, the best players I ever played with are Brian Rudolph and Nick Ponce. Brian Rudolph and Nick Ponce. Those are the best 2 players I've ever played with. And I don't think it's by surprise because, both of them ended up going on to play Division I basketball. You know what I mean? Against... You know what's funny, and be honest with you, I never played against anybody back home. I was always at the point when basketball started to become competitive, like freshman year, I wasn't playing basketball back home. I was always playing, I played AAU outside New Bedford. I went to prep school and played outside New Bedford. Again, I think that's why my game was so different was because I didn't play. I didn't play against local competition. If I had to say someone who was the best person I played against locally, I would probably say Brian. You know what I mean? But we played together a lot of the time too.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, I could put him on both sides of that spectrum. But honestly, I didn't really have any real competition back home. I'm being honest with you. If I played summer leagues, I didn't have competition with anybody who was in my class. I could look at some of the OGs who are 10, 15 years older than me, stronger than me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Say that they, you know what I mean? But when I'm 16, 17, 18 playing Bedford, there was no competition for me. I'm not saying people weren't good, but no one was as good as me. I was like the only other person who could play ball where I played ball, where in the city and outside the city, we were equally as competitive and effective was Brian Rudolph. Just me and Brian.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, me and Brian are the best 2-point guys to ever come from that city. The only difference is that people lost track of me because I left. But for those who pay attention, everybody knows it didn't stop for me. Everything got better for me once I left. From the prep school I went to the accolades to even when I played in college. You know?
What were your fondest memories playing when you did play in New Bedford?
Boys and Girls Club, man. You're such a huge part of that.
I knew you were going to say that.
Boys and Girls
I
Club.
knew it.
Boys and Girls Club made me and raised me, man. And man, that place is so special. It's so special. It's like your first. I played in front of 15,000 people in college. I've played in gyms of 500 people. And it's the same feeling as when you play in front of 150 people who are turned inside of the Boys and Girls Club gym, man. When it's a close game, it's the same exact electrifying feeling and high energy. It really, truly is, man.
It truly is. Believe me.
It's a special place. It's a special place.
No doubt
And
about
like
it.
when I go back now, I'm grown. I haven't been there. It's like 8-year intervals sometime before I go back and just look at the old gym in there. And I'm 6'2" now, and I look around. I'm like, I can't believe that this place looked so big when I was younger. It's crazy. It's like being in like the Lions Den when you go in there. The graffiti and it has a sweaty, musty smell to it that I love. You can smell man. I used to love that. I'm getting nostalgia now. I'm thinking about what it smelled like when the gym floors just got waxed.
Yeah.
Man,
Mm-hmm.
I forgot all about that, man. But I'm remembering it now, and what an incredible place, man. It's an incredible place. It really is. It's an incredible place. And honestly, I forgot what that was like until I just thought about it now. But it's an incredible place. It really is. And I would say that those are the fondest memories that I have. Fondest memories I have from back home.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. I agree with you wholeheartedly. So let the viewers know, what are you doing right now? As far as what are you doing presently?
So I'm a music manager and a music exec. And I represent several different acts. Corday, Miles Minnick. Miles Minnick he's a Christian rapper traditionally. And so I wanted to do something that just leaned more into my faith and aligns with my God, my Lord and Savior, by bringing a Christian rapper into the mainstream world that my clients tend to exist in. And right now, he's the hottest and biggest Christian rapper in the world. You know what I mean? I've been managing him for 9 months. And, the Lord asked us in the Bible to bring light into the darkness. Jesus sat with pagans. He sat with thieves. He sat with prostitutes. He sat with liars. You know what I mean? He sat with murderers, because he realized that for him to do God's work, he needed to do it for those who needed God. And so I'm bringing Christian rap into the mainstream world. I don't call it secular because I'm secular, but I'm still a Christian. I'm bringing this into the mainstream world because I want to make God cool. I want to make God, say make America great again. God needs to be cool again. Strip clubs are normalized. Violence is normalized. Weed, drugs, females, sex, fashion, money, cars, jewelry. Why isn't God normalized as cool? You know what I mean? But it's about making the medicine inside of the candy so that it's palatable and it's an enjoyable experience. And the music that my artist makes is just West Coast rap. So when you listen to it, you wouldn't even know it's Christian rap until you hear nuances of faith, religion, and God. And it's, we have a festival. Rolling Loud is the biggest hip hop festival of all time. And it's taking place in LA on March 15th. And he's the first ever Christian rapper to be booked for it. So we just made history.
Wow. Congratulations, my man. That is fantastic, man. Wow.
Yeah, thank
Man,
you,
that's
brother.
great. By any chance, did you ever get in touch with Dwayne The Rock Remus?
Yeah, I bumped into him at like a family party one time out here.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, I bumped into
Um,
him.
I just wanted to ask that. We only got about a few minutes left. Is there anything that maybe I didn't convey that you wanted to convey? How can people, because you are so damn intelligent, the way you conduct yourself and your professionalism. If people who are watching this, they want to get in touch with you and maybe get some impact, some advice or whatever you could give them, how would they be able to get in contact with you if possible?
Man, I'm from New Bedford, Massachusetts. That's my home. And if there's one thing you know about where we're from, we don't give a damn about what you do, how much money you have. We care about who you are as a person. You know what I'm saying? Like that's again one of the beautiful things about where we come from. Character and all the things that money can't buy are most important. And I couldn't change even if I wanted to. I live in Hollywood. I'm not Hollywood. You know what I'm saying? This is just where I live. I'm from New Bedford, Massachusetts. DM me, send me a comment, just get in touch with me. I answer. I'll talk to anybody. I'm no better or more important than anybody. Anybody. I might do some things differently. I might have some different perspective and some different experiences that I could offer or explain or share. But I'm not better than anybody, so I damn sure will never be unreachable. I'll never be unreachable.
That's awesome. That's a true testament to your parents as well. Um, what is your take on the landscape of the NBA as it presently stands?
Of the NBA, what?
Landscape. What's your thoughts about the All-Star game? What are your thoughts about that? I know you got something. Go ahead.
I think it's. I just think that I think they're just doing too much. They just like the games becoming too much about entertainment, less about competitiveness. I think that people are complaining now about I guess that like this year or last year has been more 3-pointers taken than ever before in the history of the game.
Yeah.
I think that that is a reflection of lack of competitiveness, right? Because if you're playing better defense, then the 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 man with the ball shouldn't feel that comfortable chucking up a three. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I think if you're a competitor who cares about winning, not just scoring, then there's less 3-pointers taken. I think that if defenders are highlighted and teams are highlighted more than individuals, then I think that the game all of a sudden gets a different level, a different spotlight on it for better reasons that influences the game to go back to its competitive origin. Um, and I think the All Star game, the All Star experience the whole weekend, because I was over there, I was up there. You know what I mean in San Francisco. I think the whole thing embodied the downside of what I just said as well, which is what is this like a tournament that of games up to like 15 or 20 or 25, whatever the hell the score was? Who knows?
Mm-hmm.
Like, put the best players out there and let them play against each other and play to win. You know
Simple
what I
as
mean?
that.
It's simple. It's like the game was designed to have two teams play against each other with one goal, win. And as long as the players, it starts from the GMs down to the coaches, down to the players. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? It comes from the top down. There needs to be a
Absolutely.
better, there needs to be a better mentality that's instilled within these programs. And they need to worry less, but it's a business, so they focus so much on the money, and I get it, but the NFL is starting to kick the NBA's ass bad
It
because
is.
The NFL is getting more and more competitive as time goes on. It ain't getting less. You know what I mean?
That's a fact. And they're getting more money too.
They get
As
more
far
money
as
too.
the
They get more
salary
money
cap.
too, bro. Like it's like the proof is in the pudding. People are saying that they like watching football more than basketball nowadays. And guess
Absolutely.
what? I'm one of them too. I watch
I'm
football
beginning to
more than
get there as
basketball
well.
now.
And wow. It's been an honor and a pleasure having you come on my show. Is there any shout out you want to give to the people? We got New Bedford, we got California, we got everybody watching. So is there anything you want to give out? Any acknowledgments, any shout outs to anybody?
No, I can't really see. I don't know how I do that. I can't see it, but no, I mean, like I said, no, I mean, just I mean, I love where I'm from, so I'm really happy. I'm really thankful, really honored that you thought of me. You have a lot of things you could be doing with your time. Your time is just as valuable as anybody else's out there. And I'm appreciative that you chose to share your time with me and your platform with me. Um, there's no better feeling for me, man, than when I enter off Route 40. I see I see that the button would pop to my left, and
Yeah.
I'm coming up to those lights with that terrible gas station. I don't even know if it works. That's in front of me. Like when
Well, I think we might have lost him, but anyway, I wanted to give a big shout out to Aaron Ace Christian for coming on my show, folks. It's been a pleasure. Aaron was
oh, there it is.
probably
Anything
one of
I
the
can do
most
for
athletic.
anything I can do for my city and the people who are from it, I'm always available. I'm always here for it, ready and willing and eager to do it. You know what I mean? So the same way that this is an interview that um, you said has viewership from all over the country or what have you. I do know that it starts from back home where we're from. And home is where the heart is, and it's where my heart is. So anything I can do back home for anybody or with anybody, man, just reach out to me. I love my city. It's the greatest. New Bedford's one of the greatest cities in the world, and I don't say Boston when I meet people. I say New Bedford, Massachusetts, and I urge everybody to do the same when they travel because you'll be surprised at how many people know New Bedford. And there's so much character that comes behind how people perceive you when you say New Bedford versus a Boston. Because New Bedford does have a globally renowned reputation. It really, really does. And it's very special to say that you're from where we're from when you hear the reasons behind why people know our city.
Well, again, I want to thank you for coming on my show. You have an open invitation anytime you want to come on. Anything you want to have, you want to say, your platform, whatever you want to come on, you're always welcome. I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for coming on my show. And I'm so damn proud of you. Thank you so much for coming on my show. It's been a blast, my brother. You take care. God bless. Thank
Thank you,
you.
brother. Appreciate you, bro.
Peace. Folks, it's been an honor and a pleasure having my guy, Aaron Ace Christian, coming on my show. He was I did so many I did referee for 40 years, over 40 years. And like I said, he brought the city game to the city. He was doing things that a lot of people, he had that vertical, he could jump. He had that Allen Iverson, he had that street game that he brought to the city. And it was a joy. Well, I can't say it was a joy all the time because refereeing ain't always that pleasurable. But he was an outstanding athlete. He had great athleticism, and he was a good ball player. And again, I lost track of him, and he ended up doing some great things. And look at him now, and it brings me joy to have these people who come from the city and like have branched out and have doing so many things. The great ball players who are now playing Division 1 or who have played Division 1. We go with Noah Fernandez. We go with Anna Adams. I keep saying her name wrong. Anna Adams, and we got Bryson Goodine, and so many other players that have come before them, and Bonzi Colston. The list goes on and on and on and on, and it's a blessing that I can say that I'm from New Bedford, and I'm waiting to see what the future holds. But anyway, folks, it's been a great show. Again, honored to have my man Aaron Ace Christian come on. Stay tuned. Look for him out because he's going to be around. He's again been recently named to the XXL magazine, which is a prestigious magazine, and he's going to be doing some great things in the future. So, as I end this show, I want to thank you all for tuning in. Stay tuned. We got another show I have would follow suit. It's been a blast. You all take care. God bless. See you guys next week on Sports Corner with the Conn Man on the Sports Wave Network. Thank you. God bless.